Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Star Trek has introduced the perfect modern equivalent to Worf in the current Red Shirts miniseries, though how long he will survive remains an open question. With Lt. Jacques, Trek has taken a little-known species first introduced on Enterprise and turned them into the next Klingons, in an echo of Worf's role in the Next Generation. Star Trek Red Shirts, written by Christopher Cantwell, with art by Megan Levens, shows off more of Jacques' personality and his fighting skills. The new character's parallels to Worf have quickly become evident in just the first few issues of the series, and if he survives, Jacques could be positioned to turn into a fan favorite. Lt. Jacques was introduced in Red Shirts #1 and managed to survive the first issue, unlike his colleagues, Lt. Meng and Ensign Duntley. The character bio at the start of the issue described the character as, in other words, the echo of Worf's character archetype from Star Trek. The Next Generation has been overt from the jump. Red Shirts #2 continues to build on that in its opening pages. While the away team awaits rescue after their botched landing, Jacques asks Ensign Rod to spar with him to pass the time. Of course, the expectation is that Red Shirts will have a high attrition rate for its cast, so Jacques' fate beyond these pages is hard to speculate on. However, it does highlight the fact that a Worf type is a core Star Trek trope, one that can find a new expression in every generation of Trek media. Jacques might not make it out of Red Shirts alive, but his role in the series has already established that the Arconians can make for an intriguing update on the Klingons. The Arconians' presence in Trek canon is relatively minimal. They first appeared in a pair of Enterprise episodes and have made minor appearances in 2 Lower Decks episodes, but beyond that, their role in Trek lore is still being established, meaning Lt. Jacques has a chance to be the most noteworthy Arconian character yet. Physically, the Arconians have a similar look to Deep Space Nine's Jem'Hadar, another alien race that has long been held up to the standard of the Klingons as a warrior culture. Either of these species work to further the fundamental concept of Worf as a character, the idea of the antagonist turned ally. A Klingon Starfleet officer was novel when The Next Generation premiered, but now the idea of former Federation enemies becoming constituent members and contributing their best and brightest to Starfleet has become an essential part of Star Trek lore. Now, Red Shirts has officially given fans the next iteration of this Trek staple. For more than 3 decades, Worf has stood as one of Star Trek's most iconic characters. As the first Klingon to serve in Starfleet, Michael Dorn's character gave audiences a bridge between cultures, a warrior with honor who also wrestled with questions of belonging. He was an outsider striving to uphold Federation ideals while honoring his Klingon heritage. His journey across the Next Generation and Deep Space Nine shaped not just the franchise but television itself, proving that sci-fi could explore identity, tradition, and cultural assimilation in ways both profound and relatable. But now, Star Trek has introduced a historic new Starfleet officer, one who carries the same resonance Worf did when he debuted in 1987. Though very different in species and temperament, this officer already feels like the perfect replacement for Worf's legacy. A warrior philosopher who will challenge the Federation, provide rich storytelling, and ultimately capture fans' hearts. The newest officer making waves in Strange New Worlds Season 3 is Lieutenant Kavara, a member of the Gorn who has shockingly chosen to join Starfleet. Her recruitment marks an extraordinary step forward for both the Federation and Trek canon. For decades, the Gorn were portrayed as little more than savage reptilian antagonists. From Captain Kirk's legendary brawl with the Gorn captain in Arena to the more horrifying versions in Strange New Worlds, their image has been one of brute strength and monstrous otherness. Kavara changes all of that. She isn't just another Starfleet officer. She represents the first true attempt at reconciliation between species once considered unbridgeable. Much like Worf shattered stereotypes about Klingons, Kavara forces Starfleet to rethink what it means to embrace diversity. She's no token addition either. From the moment she steps onto the Enterprise bridge, she commands respect. Her stoic demeanor, deliberate speech, and precise tactical thinking immediately recall the qualities that made Worf stand out. But Kuvara also brings her own unique lens, one rooted in a culture steeped in predatory instincts and survival traditions. She isn't ashamed of her heritage, but she refuses to be defined by Starfleet's fears of her people. In that balance, she mirrors Worf's lifelong struggle. Klingon enough to feel the pull of his roots, Starfleet enough to walk a different path. The brilliance of Kuvara's character is that she doesn't simply mimic Worf. She evolves his archetype for a new generation of Star Trek. The outsider's lens. Worf gave audiences an outsider's perspective on humanity and the Federation. His sense of duty often clashed with human values, sparking memorable debates about honor versus practicality. Kuvara offers that same role, but through a species far less understood. Where Worf sometimes came across as too rigid, Kuvara tempers her pragmatism with curiosity. She doesn't just critique Starfleet's methods, she wants to understand them, sometimes with biting humor, sometimes with quiet disapproval. Combat and strategy. Worf was the warrior on the bridge, the one you wanted by your side in battle. Kuvara brings an equally powerful presence. Her Gorn physiology makes her a natural powerhouse, but it's her tactical brilliance that sets her apart. She studies opponents with reptilian patience, exploiting weaknesses others miss. Starfleet has never seen a strategist like her, and much like Worf's rise to security chief, Kuvara is poised to redefine tactical command. Cultural tension. Klingons had honor, traditions, and politics that Worf constantly wrestled with. The Gorn, however, have been defined almost exclusively as predators. Kuvara's very existence demands a reevaluation of those assumptions. She brings rituals of her people into Federation spaces, strange meditation practices, hunting songs adapted into disciplined chants, and sometimes her peers don't know how to respond. That tension creates fertile ground for the same kind of cultural commentary Worf once delivered. Philosophy beneath the scales. Worf was more than just a warrior. He was a philosopher at heart, always wrestling with morality, faith, and identity. Kuvara shares that trait. Beneath her cold exterior is a voice of wisdom, often expressed in Gorn parables about survival and strength. Where humans see savagery, she sees resilience. Where Starfleet preaches exploration, she frames it as the ultimate hunt for knowledge. Her perspective enriches every debate on the bridge. Just as Worf opened the door to deeper explorations of Klingon society, Kuvara's presence invites the franchise to flesh out Gorn culture beyond the battlefield. Are all Gorn bound to violence, or can they evolve? How do they reconcile primal instincts with diplomacy? Can Starfleet ever fully trust a species it once deemed irredeemably hostile? Kuvara herself embodies these questions. She is torn between instinct and choice, between the hunger to dominate and the will to cooperate. Already, Strange New Worlds has teased stories where she struggles with Starfleet rations because they don't satisfy her predatory biology, or moments where she hesitates to save an enemy ship because the hunt demands victory. These dilemmas are tailor-made for the kind of character growth fans adored in Worf. Her arc also has galaxy-shaping implications. If she succeeds in Starfleet, she could become the bridge between the Federation and the Gorn hegemony. Much like Worf eventually held sway in Klingon politics, Kuvara could redefine galactic relations with her people. Her personal journey mirrors the Federation's mission to prove that peace is possible, even with those once seen as monsters. No one can truly replace Worf. His journey remains singular in Trek history. But what makes Kuvara so compelling is that she doesn't erase his legacy, she extends it. Where Worf showed that honor could exist in unexpected places, Kuvara demonstrates that even species defined by fear can seek new paths. Where Worf often represented the other struggling to fit in, Kuvara proudly embraces her difference, forcing Starfleet to adapt around her. It's a fresh twist on the outsider's narrative, one that resonates deeply with today's audiences. Worf made Klingons relatable. Kuvara makes the Gorn complex. Both fulfill Star Trek's mission to show us that diversity, no matter how alien, is worth embracing. Star Trek thrives when it uses its characters as mirrors for our own struggles. Worf's journey gave voice to questions of belonging, cultural loyalty, and identity. Now, Lieutenant Kavara steps onto the stage with the same potential. She is both a tribute to what Worf accomplished and a bold new direction for the franchise. Already fans are comparing her stoic one-liners and unflinching bravery to Worf's most famous moments. Already, the crew looks to her in times of crisis. And already, she feels essential. If Worf was the heart of honor in Star Trek, the next generation, then Kavara is poised to become the soul of survival in strange new worlds. She may be new, she may be different, but she is exactly what Starfleet needs and exactly what Worf's legacy deserves. In every growled observation, every razor-sharp tactical suggestion, and every quiet moment of reflection, Kavara proves she's not just another officer. She's Star Trek's next great outsider, the perfect Worf replacement, and a historic step forward for the franchise's future. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.